Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to do some C2C. I'm just new at this as well, but I've learned enough that I can start making videos. So we're going to start off with a basic design. This is going to fit. I got some pillow inserts here. Let me start with that. These are 12 by 12, little tiny. They're still in their bag, so they're flat, but little tiny pillows I got from Amazon. Just little throw pillows for your couch, right? Little 12 by 12s. This will fit this 12 by 12 pillow insert. So I'm going to use a 5mm hook. I'm going to use this Barney color, Barney purple, and just white for the pillow. Reading a graph gan when you're doing tapestry crochet is generally, you snake along like this, right? When we do our tapestry crochet. I don't know if any of you have done tapestry crochet with me. I've done quite a lot of videos. This one, you do corner to corner. That's why it's called C2C. So you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to read snaking back and forth. So you read this way, then you read this way, then you read this way. So when I did my my graph, you see how I've got all these arrows, because at first I read this way and then I read this way. So I put all of this, and these arrows are a good idea if you're doing the snaking while you're doing the building. I don't work like that. I think it's insane. Personally, it's my personal opinion. I like to have everything all typed out nice and neat. So I did all the numbers for you, and that's the point of the videos. Is I do all the counting, I do all the snaking, and let's jump right into this. I am using a 5mm. I don't have my ruler. My ruler's upstairs because I'm doing another tapestry crochet, so I'm going to have to find something. I use my little receipt for my yarn. So, I'm going to quickly teach you the C2C deal. I'm using a 5mm. I'm going to start with white because the first few rows have no color. So I figure it's probably the best time to teach the actual art of C2C. So, let's zoom in closer here. You're going to start with a slip knot and you're going to chain 6. Whatever hook your yarn calls for, that's the size you're going to use. You don't have to use a 5mm. I'm using this white sparkle stuff. And then this, whatever color this is, a neon violet, I think. It's the same color I used for my Barney video. And it's worsted, I believe. And then this is just a 4-weight. But it's not the same as tapestry crochet. You don't have to use a bigger size hook. You just have to use whatever your yarn calls for. So I've chained 6. The easiest way to find your stitch is to count up 2 stitches from the bottom and go into the next one. So you're going into the 3rd stitch from the bottom with a double crochet. And then you're going to put 1 double crochet in the next 2. So the bottom 3 all get 1 double crochet in each. And then you're going to chain 6. So that first block is our first row. Chaining 6 is the beginning of our second row. So you're going to do the same thing. These last 3 stitches are going to get a double crochet each. Sorry, that's just my dog upstairs, if you can hear that. So from here, we need to turn this and in this space. So we're not going into any stitches. In this first space, you're going to go right in there and do a slip stitch. and then we chain 3, and we put 3 double crochets in that same space. Oops. Sorry, it is so loud upstairs. So that's our row number 2. So we start row number 3. I have an itchy eye. We start row number 3 with chaining 6. Because we're increasing. So the last 3 stitches get double crochet each. If you want to use a half double, you can do that too. Just don't chain 3, chain 2. But it's completely up to you what you use. I just wouldn't use a single because I think it would look stupid. So once you've got your first block for your next row, you have to turn to start your next row. Slip stitching into that space, and then you chain 3. So round 3, row 3 has 3 blocks. So once you get your 3 double crochets in here, you got to go to this next block, and in this space go in and slip stitch, and then chain 3. So in the chain 3 space, that's where you slip stitch, and then put your 3 double crochets in here, and that's round 3. It works up really, really fast. So round 4, you're going to chain 6. And in the last 3 stitches, you're going to put one double crochet in each. And then you turn your work. Slip stitch into that chain 3 space and chain 3. And then put 3 double crochets. A lot of 3s in this C2C business. So each block is made up of 4 double crochets because that chain 3 acts as a double crochet. So next block, slip stitch into, chain 3. Do 3 double crochets. Slip stitch into that chain 3 space, chain 3. Oh, my eye is so itchy. So round 5 starts off with chain 6. And in the last 3 stitches, you're going to put a double crochet in each. This sparkle stuff is pretty, but oh my gosh. Getting stuck on all this sequins in here. So once your block is made, you got to turn and slip stitch into that chain 3 space from the previous row, chain 3, and put 3 double crochets. So that increased block there counts as the first block of the next row. So this is row 5, we need 5 blocks. So slip stitch into that next space, chain 3, 3 double crochets. Slip stitch in that chain 3 space, chain 3, 3 double crochets. So make sure your subtitles are on for this. I did a video shows you at the beginning of this video. A short little video shows you how to turn your subtitles on. So slip stitch into this last block and build your last block. So chain 3. Oh, I got a lovely knot in my yarn. 3 double crochets. And that was row 5. So you should have 5 blocks. Row 6. We're going all the way to row 8 before we start adding our color. So row 6. And then by then you should understand the whole C2C. You probably already do, but chain 6. In the last 3, you're going to do 1 double crochet each. My white does not want to pull out of my cake. Turn your work and begin your next row. So you should have 6 blocks. Round 7, chain 6. So this is called increasing while we're chaining 6 because you got to build the square. So this block is the start of round 7. Turn your work. So this doesn't count as block 1. This counts as block 2 for the 7th row. You'll need to know that for when you start adding color. So you should do 7 blocks for this row. So you should have 7 blocks. C2C has such an awesome look. 7 blocks. So round 8 is going to be the last row that we have without color, and then we're going to be adding color in row 9. So this is row 8. So chain 6. Do your 3 double crochets in the next or the last 3 stitches. Turn your work, slip stitch, and build your, well, it would be 7 blocks now, 8 blocks altogether. So that's my 8 rows and my 8 blocks. So my graph, let me show you the graph so you get an idea of what we just did. So I'm reading right to left. Right to left. You can read left to right if you're left-handed. It'll make no difference. You just need to make sure that this side is your bad side. If you're reading left to right, let me zoom out for a minute and explain this. If you're a lefty and you're reading left to right, that's how it's going to be sitting on your graph. So this side is going to be the wrong side. I'm making a pillow, so it doesn't really matter what my sides look like, but this is going to be the wrong side. I'm reading right to left. So when I put it on the graph, this becomes my wrong side. So a lot of people, I find, like to mark their wrong side before they start adding their color, just so they know where their stragglers are going to go, or where you're going to, you know, whatever you're doing on the wrong side. So that's, and this is why we keep increasing. Now, of course, this is bigger than the graph, but we keep increasing because we have to keep building these blocks across, and that's why we do 6. We chain 6 every time. But when we get to the corner, we don't chain that 6 anymore, but we'll get to that and I'll show you that part. So that's what you have so far. We're gonna start we're gonna start adding color. I need to take a drink. I didn't mean to slurp. So, round 9, we're going to do 1 block of the white, and then we're going to do 8 blocks of the purple. For me, whatever color you're using. When I'm saying purple in this, or color A, that's what I mean, but you can use whatever color that you want to use. So come back down here. So we're going to chain 6. We're going to do our 3 double crochet. And we're going to turn our work. So this is going to be my bad side. So my next block has to be purple. So this last stitch, I'm not going to finish with my white. So I'm just going to back out just so I can show you. I'm going to finish it with my new color for the next block. Sorry, let me show you something else first. Because this is my bad side, I'm going to take this white and I'm going to bring it over here. Then I'm going to add my color. I'm going to pull through so this little straggler can stay there for a second. So then I slip stitch and I do my business. Chain 3. This is my personal preference. I'm going all the way to the end with my purple, and then when my next row I'm bringing my purple back. So I'm just going to leave my white hanging here. I'm not doing anything with that. But my straggler, because I'm using purple all the way up, I'm just going to hold my straggler, and this is for the back of the project. I do it differently for the front of the project. So I'm going to weave my straggler in as I do my 3 double crochets. Just make sure you keep it at the back. So that's my 3 double crochets. So you need 8 blocks altogether. So I chain 3, and I'm going to continue to carry. I'm just going to pull it up here, and I'm going to continue to do my, until I'm satisfied. But I just want, it needs to stay at the back. Like it can't twist around to the front, because then it's going to look horrible. So you can't really tell that I carried it right there. It's right there, but you can't really tell. So again, I slip stitch, chain 3. I still got a little bit left, so I'm just going to weave in that last little bit, and then I know it's kind of safe being weaved all the way up. And that little piece I can just fold, I can sew back on itself later. So I'm just going to continue. You need 8 blocks altogether. And that'll take you all the way to the end. My last block of row 9. And this is what you should have. So this little guy can either get snipped off because I weaved him here and I weaved him here. And it's not that easy to see that I did that weaving. If I pull on this, you can see where it is probably. And it's right there, and right there. But you can't hardly tell. You can sew it back on itself, like weave it in this way. But I don't know, I think mine is so small. Sorry, I know I'm breaking. I can't come down any further. I'll zoom in with my editing. So I'm just gonna weave. I break the yarn, like I go through the pieces of yarn when I weave. And it is so small. See if I can thread it. Oh, barely. And then I'm just gonna pull that through there. And then that should be safe. Snip it off. So this round, when I come back in round 10, I do 8 blocks. So I'm going to do 8 blocks. And then the last 2 blocks are going to be with the white. So I'm just going to use what I've left hanging here. And then I can show you how I bring it across where you won't even notice that I've brought it across. Well, I mean, maybe a little bit, but... So we're going to chain 6 to start row 10. And in the last 3 stitches, you're going to put your double crochet. Some people are adamant when you're doing these double crochets in these 3 stitches that you need to get under both those pieces. Quite frankly, it does not matter. You will never notice whether you got under 1 piece or 2 pieces. Just saying. So turn your work. We need 8 blocks of purple. Oh, that's my 8. I got carried away. So this is my 8th block, counting this one that we did here before we turned. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in this last block, so this is the front of my work. And this is now the back of my work. So I'm going to finish this last stitch with my white. So I'm going to keep this at the back, because the only time you pull it around is if I was on the back side. So my white is being pulled right across. Let me go into frame a little bit more. My white is being pulled across all the way. And that's okay, because we do a slip stitch anyway. So I'm going to slip stitch with this behind that, weaving in. I'm going to do my slip stitch. So it gets pulled over the only thing you might have to pull down on is the purple, just to snug it up a little bit. And then we chain 3. And then when I'm doing my 3 single crochets, or my doubles, I'm going to be weaving that piece of white in. But you don't need to pull or make it loose or try to make it go in the shape of the steps. I call them steps because you're pulling it in for the slip stitch anyway. So it does not make a difference. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's what it looks like at the back. I'll turn this around and show you. So I'll make my last block. So 2 blocks of your base color. So that's what you should have. I'll zoom out a bit. The coloring was a little off, so I had to change the light on my camera. But anyway, I'm zooming out. I noticed the color seemed really dark purple, and it's not. It's like a Barney purple. That's better. Much better. So, this is what you should have right now. And then my color change at the back looks like this. So you can't hardly even tell that I just did what I did there. I pulled it across from there. So that's all that you end up with at the back. So that's how I do my color changes there. I've seen so many videos when I was learning this. I've seen so many videos where they were like, you gotta make it, pull it out so it's long enough that you can weave it in. Like, no, you don't have to. I haven't had to. I haven't had to do any of that. That's how I do mine. Because I'm pulling it in to do the slip stitch anyway. So it literally makes your piece of yarn that long that you have to weave in. So that's how I do mine. So I'll walk you through a couple more times on the color changes. But for round 11, we're going to chain 6. Oh, I'm stuck on that sequence again. Do your block, so your 3 double crochets in the next 3 or the last 3 stitches of that chain. And then turn your work. So you need 2 of these white blocks, and then we're going to go to purple. So chain 3, do your 3 double crochets, but on the last double crochet, don't finish the stitch. So I'm going back to purple, so I'm not going to finish that stitch, but I am at the back of my work. So I'm going to zoom in so I can show you properly. So I'm at the back of my work, so I'm going to pull this white to the back, and then I'm going to take my purple, and even though I'm pulling it across this far, it won't make a difference. I don't have to make it loose. You don't have to pull it out. I actually tighten it. So I'm coming in to do my slip stitch. I'm actually tightening that because I got to come in and do the slip stitch anyway. So that's how long the piece turns out to be that I got to weave in. So I'm going to do it over that piece, my slip stitch, chain 3, and then when I do my double crochets, it's going to be over this piece. So it's not even going to be noticeable that it's there. Now, this is a pretty easy pattern. Not all of them are going to be this easy, but we'll do, along the way, we'll do more complicated color changes and stuff like that. So, this round is going to be 9 blocks of purple. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's what it should look like. We're going to chain 6. We're starting row 12. We're going to chain 6. do our 3 double crochets in the last 3 stitches of that chain. Turn your work. How did I do that? Turn my work. We need 9 purple, and we're going to do 3 white. So this is my 9th block. So where I'm going to do my color change. So I'm not going to finish that last double crochet. I'm at the front of my work, so I'm just going to let that drop. My white is 2 blocks over. So I'm just going to pull it over. And then I'm going to come in. So when I come in to do the slip stitch, again, you see that that is only this long. So I'm going to weave it in with my slip stitch and my double crochets. The only thing, like I said, I might have to pull down on is this, just to snug those 2 blocks together a little bit. And then do your 3 white blocks. I watched a lot of videos where people go in from the back and they do all this, making your thing extra long to hide it in the steps and all this stuff, and I thought, geez, that's just so weird to me, because I haven't had to do any of that. Again, that's the back. That's my first color change and my second color change. And then the purple color change is down here. So all you can see from that, why does that seem blurry to me? You can see these 2 pieces right there from the color change from the purple. So far that's the back. That's my straggler that I'm using. So that's my back, and it's fine. There's no a lot of mess going on, and it doesn't look too bad doing it that way. So moving on. This is the point of the heart, in case you don't go up here. That's the point of the heart, in case you're not understanding what we're doing. So we build it corner to corner, like I said. So this picture, the hearts go right to this side. So that's what we're doing. That's the corner, or the corner, the tippy edge. That's that block there. And then this is literally the side of the pattern. That's just how it goes. If you're left-handed, building from this side, I will put up a left-handed video. The left-hand video can go up. I'm just not sure what it's gonna be like. Should be fine. So if you're watching the left-handed video, then I'm going from this way up. So, but it's just a heart. It's not letters or anything, so it shouldn't make a huge difference. But like I already explained, it all depends on where your backside is. Going around 13. So do your chain 6 and your block. So the last 3 stitches, get a double crochet. I don't think I need to keep saying this. So that's the first block for round 13. Let me get untangled. I'm not using bobbins, I'm just using right from the row because it's just 2 colors. So I'm going to slip stitch. You need 3 white. So this is my 3rd white. On my last double crochet, I'm going to bring my white over like this. Oh, zoom in. Might be easier to see it. So I'm going to bring my white tail over like this. I'm going to grab my purple and I'm going to pull across and finish the stitch. So just pull your purple tight as you come in to do your slip stitch. Chain 3. So I'm going to snug down on my white a little bit just to pull those 2 closer together. And then I'm going to do my 3 single crochet, weaving in this piece of purple. Or my 3 double crochets. Why do I keep saying singles? My 3 doubles. So that tiny little piece of purple right there, that's the only thing that's going to show, is that right there. This next row changes a little bit. We are starting our next row with white. So our chain 6 has to be done in white. So this is where we do a color change. So this is where you might need another tiny little bobbin, because you got your white down here for this white. But now you need white up here for this white. So this is what I do, is my cake. I roll cake, so I can take from either. I just gotta see where to pull it. So I roll cake, so I can take from the outside and the inside. So right now I'm working on the inside. So I'm going to show you how I roll a bobbin. Just pull some out here. So these are called butterfly bobbins. And I roll mine specifically. Like, I'm specific about it. Because I'm anal. I spread my fingers apart when I'm rolling it. Now, I don't like to put, in this first bit, I don't like to put a whole bunch. Because when you're using it and it starts to unravel, you don't want it to unravel a whole pile. So I might have just went around there 6 times. And now I'm going to squish it. So I'm squishing it. I still have it wrapped around this finger. But I'm going to start to wrap near this end where my thumb is. And then I'm going to take my hand out. And I'm going to wrap really tight this first row all the way down. These work way better than using... I mean, I still use, so I use clothespins, and that's not for using it as a bobbin. That's just for attaching it to my work. So if I've got multiple bobbins, I can just clothespin them to my project, and they're not going to be flopping around and unraveling. So I'm not going to go all the way to the end of this bobbin. I'm going to stop, leaving a little bit. So a little bit on each side is now out. So the middle part that I use, so I'm going to come in with my thumb and my finger, and I'm going to start wrapping the middle. So again, even what I just wrapped, I'm not going all the way to the end. I'm just doing this little middle part. And that is how I do my bobbins. And this will last actually quite a while. It goes quite a ways. It doesn't look like it would, but it does actually go quite a ways. So I'm going to fast forward. So that's going to be the size of my bobbin, and it looks really, really small, and you're probably going, are you kidding me right now? So I'm just going to take my piece and pull it back through my cake. So this is the glory about having cakes, is you can always just make a bobbin from the outside. You don't have to worry about cutting any yarn. To spin my cakes, I already have a video out there. You're going to have to look for it, but that's the spinner I use to turn all my balls of yarn into cakes. Like I said, I have a video, so you can go check it out. So I'm going to take my bobbin, and this won't unravel itself until you pull on it. And I'm going to zoom back in. So I'm going to finish that last double crochet with my new color. Now this is the back of my work. So I'm just going to make sure that this is kind of pulled across and I'm holding it on this side, because that's the bad side. If you're a lefty and this is your bad side, then you'll just leave it hanging on the other side. It's going to end up being left hanging anyway. So with your white, you can now chain 6. And then do your 3 double crochets to make your block. And it's just one block that we need. So, since it's just one block, I'm going to take this purple that I just left hanging here, and I'm going to come up and finish that stitch. And then I'm going to turn my work. So now you're probably going, well, now what the heck do you do with everything? This, unfortunately, is going to have to get weaved in. So first I do my slip stitch. I'm not going to worry about weaving anything just yet. I'm going to do my slip stitch and my chain 3. So now I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to weave in the white just for this one row, and you can sew it in later if you need to fix it. With purple, we're going to do 9 blocks. So I'll show you what this looks like after I'm done. So that's my first block. So I'll zoom in with my editing. So this is what it looks like. So you can pull this a little more snugly, but I wouldn't really pull it that much, but that's what it's going to look like. Not the greatest, but this is why this is the bad side. This tail is now long enough that I can backtrack and weave it back in this way. So I am going to have another piece in this direction because I'm going to weave this in. You can continue to carry these. So if we do that, so again, I'm going to leave them hanging until I do my slip stitch. You don't need to make them look like stairs. You don't need to have the yarn go down and up, which I've seen so many people talk about, and it's silly to me. It just doesn't need to happen. So, I guess I didn't want to start making my double crochets. So if you're going to carry this, which I wouldn't suggest because we're going to use it, but I'll just show you what it looks like. So after you do your slip stitch and everything, weave it with your double crochets. Just make sure it doesn't come around to the good side, because it can totally do that. So that's what it would look like. And I don't like that, so I don't do it. There's no way in a contrast color like this that you are going to make that look good. So I would say don't do it at all. That's my suggestion. And besides, I'm going to come back around and use the white probably again on this side because we're doing that part of the heart. So you need 9 blocks of purple. I'm reading that right? 9 blocks of purple, and then we're going to pick up our white again on the other side. This is my 9th block, so I have to go back to the white. So I'm going to do part of my double crochet, but I'm not going to finish it. So I've got this white. This is already the back of my work, so I'm just going to leave my purple guy hanging. I'm going to pull my white across and then do my slip stitch. And you need to do 4 white. So that's my 4 white. So this is what you should have. It's getting big. You should have your 1 white over here. So this is the good part about your bobbin, is before I turn my work, and this is why we love our clothespins, I can just clothespin that to my work. So I'm over here working, and I need to do the whole switcheroo turny thingy. This isn't good. This is just going to be stuck on my work. So we are on round 15. This is going to be our last increase row. We're not going to be increasing anymore after this row. So you're going to chain 6. And you're going to do your 3 double crochets in the last 3 stitches. So, turn your work. So I just flip my thing over because it's already stuck. It's not going anywhere. You need 4 blocks of white and then go to your purple. So this is my 4th block. My camera loves to shut off at the most inopportune times. I'm at the back of my work, so I'm just going to make sure that my white is tucked over here. I'm going to go to my purple. So when I come into slip stitch, I'm going to make sure I'm pulling this, not tight, but, you know, to where it's supposed to be. So I just knocked my papers. Let's see, I need 10 purple. So I'm going to weave in this piece of purple when I do my doubles. And again, my white just hangs here, waiting for me to come back. I'm going to use my white bobbin on the other side, so I will see you there. I'm going to unclip my white just so I can get to my 10th block. So I'm going back to my white color. So on this last double crochet, I'm going to finish it. So I'm at the back, so I'm going to pull my purple over. Make sure my bobbin's in the right spot. Finish that with my white. And then do my last block with white. So that's what it ends up looking like. I pulled out on my purple a little bit. Sure, my bobbin isn't getting tangled with my other white. So that's my last white. So this will get weaved in. It will go up into the white, just like this piece here. So, I mean, if you don't like it because you want both sides, say you're using it for something else, I guess following my tutorial is probably a bad idea, because I don't know what else you're gonna do to, like I said, I'm new at this too. There's lots of suggestions. Oh, I'm stuck on my own fingers. My skin is so dry. I bust open in sores all the time, and then I get all these pieces around my... So I just weaved up there for my straggler. Now, I think I'm going to weave back down just to be on the safe side. And like I say, I go through my yarn. I don't weave around it. I go right through it. So, in the washing process, if it does try to come out, hopefully it gets stuck. And with all these sequences, hopefully. So I'm just going to cut off that little nubby. And that's about as bad as my color change there looks. So it's not horrible. I can live with it, which is the important part. So, this is going to be our last increase row. So we are going to increase, so we're going to chain 6 here. I'm just going to move my bobbin. And then we do our block. Get into it. So turn your work. We're doing 2 blocks of white. So I'm going to do my second one and then I go to purple. So I'm going to grab my purple. So this is the back of my work. So I'm just going to leave my guy hanging. Grab my purple. Pull across. And then I'm snugging it up as I come in to do my slip stitch. Chain 3. So again, all I have to do is pull down and snug up my white a little bit. And I'm good to go. I weave my whatever back here. I don't really have anything to weave back here. Get that out of the way. So you're going to do 9 purple and then 4 blocks of white for the end, and we're not increasing anymore. So I'll show you that. So 9 purple, and I'll meet you back for the color change. So this is my 9th block. I'm going to finish my last one with my white. I'm going to slip stitch. So I'm going to make 4 blocks of the white. We're not increasing anymore. So I will show you what we do after. This is my 4th block. So that's my 4 blocks. You're going to slip stitch into this last block and you're going to turn your work. Turn my work to get the purple in the right position. Again, I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to just stick him on the end here. Just so he's not flopping around annoying me. I mean, he doesn't need to be right on the end. You can stick him down here. Guess you can't see that. I just clipped him down there. So, once you turn your work, because we're not increasing anymore, you're going to these next 3 chains. So that's the chain you usually would slip stitch into. You got 1, 2, 3 chains. In each of those, you're going to do a slip stitch. And then you're going to slip stitch into the same space that you've been slip stitching into. So that is now the corner. So we start going up like that. We don't keep going out like this because it's just a little square. So you need 3 blocks of white. So this is going to be number 1. You're on round 17. So 3 blocks of white. And I'll show you how you can count them easier. So I'm not going to finish my last double because I'm going to change colors. But I just wanted to show you an easy way to know. We don't count what we just did here because we've just turned this into just the square, the corner of the whole project. So these little pieces that stick out, that's how you count your blocks now. So 1, 2, and 3. You're going to do 10 purple blocks, and then you're going to, when you get to the other side, you're going to do 1 white block because we're going to slip stitch into this side because we're not increasing any sides now. Now some are not perfect squares. Some projects you'll come across that are not perfect squares and they'll call for not an increase on one side but still increasing on the other. We're not doing that. This is going to be a perfect square. It's a 12 by 12 perfect square piece. So you're going to do your 1 block of white on the other side. We're going to slip stitch and turn into this one. We're not building a block onto it. So I'll meet you back at this side. Right now we're going to do our color change to purple. I am on the wrong side of my project, so I'm just going to make sure that this stays over here. I'm going to do my color change. And 10 purple. So this is my 10th stitch. I'm at the back, so I'm going to bring my purple around here. I'm going to clip my bobbin. And I'm doing one block with this. So that's my one block. So in here is where I just slip stitch. And then I'm going to turn my work. So after you turn your work, you do your 3 slip stitches. 4 technically. So go into 3 of these up here. And then your 4th stitch goes into the one you normally go into, the big space. And then we begin round 18. I gotta change my battery. So we are on round 18. So I've slip stitched. I did my, I had to change my battery, screws me right up. My slip stitches into my 3 things. I slip stitched into here, so I'm going to do my chain 3. And I need 1 block of white. So that's my 1 block. This is my bad side, so I'm going to leave my white hanging. Or not my bad side, my wrong side. Do my color change. So I'm just going to pull snugly down on my white a little bit. I need 9 blocks. I'm reading the wrong row again. I need 9 blocks of purple. So this is my 9th block. I need to go to white. If I can get a hold of it. And I'm going to do 3 blocks with my white. So this is my 3rd block. So this here is the top. My picture. That's these blocks here. Just to give you an idea of the perspective. So we slip stitch into this last block and we turn our work. I would turn it this way. I always turn it the wrong way. So I would turn it this way. And twist all your stuff. And do your slip stitches. So slip stitch 3 times in these 3 stitches. And then we're at our space. Slip stitch. Chain 3, Round 19, we're going to do 2 blocks with the white. So on my second block, this is the back of my work. I'm going to make sure my white stays on this side over here. So just hold it with my thumb. Change to my purple. Do my slip stitch into my chain 3 space. And purple is going to be 9 blocks. So this is my 9th stitch. I go off into La La Land. So I'm going to pull my purple across like this. I get this white out of the way because I'm using this white. So I'm going to pull this across. Let me get this purple out of the way. I'm going to going to move my purple. So I'm going to pull across, do my slip stitch. I'm only doing 1 block of white. So I'm going to pull down on my purple. That just snugs it all together. So this is the top of the square. So that's why this is the last block of white, and then we're going to slip stitch. Oops. 3, and then I slip stitch, and then I turn my work. So I'm just kind of turning with all my colors. Flip it over. That's the awkward part, turning. So we are on round 20. We're going to do our 3 slip stitches. And then we're going to slip stitch into that chain 3 space from the row before. We're going to do, this is a little different. We're going to do 1 block of white. So this is going to be my 1 block. So I need purple over here because we're going to do it the middle of our heart, but my purple, oh, I already have purple over here. So I'm going to go to my purple. I'm going to do 2 purple. Just making sure I get that loop from pulling across. Pulled up and weaved in. So I'm just going to snug my white up there. So I'm going to do 2 purple. And then I need another white. So I'm not going to finish my last stitch. And now we have to make another bobbin. So let me turn my cake upside down and make another small little bobbin because we don't need much. We're not doing a whole lot. This is just the middle part of the heart, and then eventually we're going to be just going white all the way across. So we don't need a very big bobbin here. So I'm just making a small little one. Kind of a sloppy small little one, so it doesn't have to be super duper uber or anything. So, turn my white back over. So this bobbin here is just for this side part. Actually, that's the top. These are the sides where the purple meets. This is the top. What we're doing now is the middle of the heart. This side is my wrong side, so I'm going to make sure my straggler is on the wrong side. Down like that. I'm going to weave it in though. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to make sure my straggler is behind that. I'm going to do my slip stitch. So I'm going to make my block is just going to be one block. I'm just going to snug my purple up. So it's just going to be one block of white. And then I go back to purple. So I'm not going to finish that last double crochet with this white, which is now all tangled. I'm going to put it over there. I'm going to grab the purple that I had already back there and pull it across like that. Because it's only one block, it's not a huge big deal. Once you get the white out from underneath it, you won't notice it. It'll just blend in with the row below, so it won't be noticeable. So I'm going to do 5 blocks with my purple. This is my 5th block. So my last double crochet, I'm going to finish with my white. And with my white, I'm going to do 2 blocks. That's my 2 blocks. I'm going to slip stitch into this other block and I'm going to turn my work. And I'm going to do my 3 slip stitches. And then my 4th one goes into that chain 3 space. And I got to turn my papers. Just about done. We're on round 21. We're going to do 1 block of white. So chain 3 and do your 3 single crochets to make your block. Or double crochets. Oh, good lord. 3 double crochets. So, oh, I'm stuck. Oh, some sequence or something. I didn't put my outside piece back in. There we go. Before that gets on my nerves. So I'm at the back of my project, so I'm going to make sure my piece comes around here. Do my color change. So for purple, you're going to do 6. So it'll get shorter and shorter as we go. This is my 6th stitch, or my 6th block. So, I'm going to bring this over here, and this is the back of my work. This can go over here. I'm just trying to show you easier. So I've got these bobbins. One is for this corner over here, and then this one here is what I'm going to use to finish this last stitch. I'm going to do knew my battery was going to die. I'm going to do 3 blocks of white. So I just want to snug up on this a little bit. So do 3 blocks with your white. So this is my 3rd. So we don't technically need this other one, but because this one's almost empty, I'm just going to leave this here. So that's my 3 blocks. So slip stitch into this next one, and then turn your work. So I'm just going to grab everything all together and turn like this. This is the front of my work. This is the middle of the heart. So we're going to start our next bumps over here. So find my white. I'll find the white I'm using. So we're going to do our slip stitches. Slip stitch into this chain 3 space. So for this next round, oh, the purple's all stuck. For this next round, okay, I gotta move this other white. I'm just gonna stick it over here because it's just right in my way. For now, I'm gonna probably need it because this other little guy is running out. So I'm going to chain 3. You need 2 white blocks. We're on row 22. You need 2 white blocks. So after my 2nd white block, that last stitch is gonna be finished with purple. So with purple, let me just tighten my white a little bit. So 6 blocks with purple and then 1 block of white. I'll get this other hump out of the way. Just make sure that when you pull across, you're weaving this part in from when you pulled. This is my 6th block. So this is my wrong side. I'm just going to let it drop. Do my color change. Chain 3, and then I'm going to do 1 block with my white. Making sure to weave this piece of white that I pulled across in there. So that's my 1 block of white. My last stitch, I slip stitch and I turn my work. Yes, I turned this backwards, but it doesn't really matter. We're still going to our slip stitch, 3 slip stitches across. And then slip stitch into your space. That you normally do. So, I only have a little bit of purple left. I don't know if I'm going to have to get more or not. Round 23 starts off with just purple. So, let me get out of this. So that's my 3 slip stitches. I'm going to bring my white across because this is my bad side. I have to do 1 more slip stitch, so I'm going to slip stitch with the purple and pull that through. That's how I'm going to do this particular color change. And then I'm going to chain 3 and do my first block. So I'm just moving the white out of the way. You're going to do 6 purple blocks. This is my 6th block. Three, 4, 5, 6. Making sure. That's all the purple I have. I have to get more purple. So, this is my 6th block. I'm pulling my purple over because this is the back part of my project. So, this white, there's not much left for this white, but I only need to do 2 blocks. I'm going to try to make it work. So, I'm going to finish that last stitch with my white. Do my slip stitch, make my 2 blocks. No, I'm not going to get 2 blocks out of that. So I think I'm going to chain. So I'm not going to get even my last double crochet. So I'm on my second to last double crochet. I want to leave a decently long tail for sewing. So I'm going to bring this white that I have way over here across. Now, stay with me here. When I snug up to do my slip stitches, it's going to be fine. But in the meantime, I still got to do a double crochet. So I don't really want it that tight because I'm not coming in to do my slip stitch. So I'm just going to pull this out and keep it a little bit loose. Enough that I'm going to be able to hold it down here to do my last double crochet over. So now I've got 2 pieces of white that I'm now doing my double crochet over. And I do my last double crochet for that block, and then I do my slip stitch. But I want to bring this up because I've pulled it to be loose, right? And I want to do my 3 double crochets over that piece up here. So that's really the only reason I would pull something loose, is for something like this. You also could have just cut it and moved it that way. So I'm going to slip stitch, and now I do have a piece that will just blend right in. Really, you probably won't even, well, you're not going to see mine because it's a pillow. So I doubt you're going to see, it's not really going to be that noticeable. So turn your work and do your 3 slip stitches. We are on round 24. You're going to do 1 block of white, so I'm going to chain 3. That's my 1 block. Oops. So I want to finish that with my purple. With my purple, I'm going to do 6 blocks. I'm going to have to get more purple, but so 6 blocks takes you all the way to the end. So I add more color the same way I add new color. So I'm going to pull up a loop, and that's not really long enough to do anything. So this is where I'm going to add more color to finish the stitch. So these 2 stragglers, thankfully, are all the same color. So I'm just going to, when I do my, I'm going to do my slip stitch without weaving and my chain 3. But when I do my doubles, I'm just going to carry this along so I don't have to sew them in later, because they're all the same color and it's not even going to be noticeable. And these ones you can at least twist around so that they kind of go under. Again, I'm going to do my slip stitch without weaving, but then when I go to do my 3 double crochets, I'm going to pick up my 2 stragglers and I'm going to weave. Because this is my wrong side anyway. So you just got to kind of pull them snug, but it's not really that noticeable. I know I'm not in that close because it is getting bigger, so it's not going to be that noticeable. And mine's a pillow, so that's going to be on the inside of the pillow anyway. So I'm going to come back out a bit. And you don't have to go that far, so I can just leave the rest hanging and sew it in later. So I'm at 4. I got to do 6 blocks. This is my 6th block. So the next row starts with purple, so we don't have to do anything fancy here. We just go into the next block and we slip stitch and turn our work. And do our 3 slip stitches. And then slip stitch into this space here. We're going to do 5 blocks. We're on round 25. We're going to do 5 blocks and 1 white. So here I am, back around where I do have stragglers. If you wanted to, I don't see any reason why you couldn't pull these up and still weave them in. It's a little bit of an awkward situation, but it is doable. Just make sure they stay at the back of your work. So I just weaved that all the way up. You just need to kind of pull it snug. And other than that, it's not really that noticeable. Again, there are ways to go about it. So now that I've weaved it all this way, I'm just going to snip those off. I'm pretty sure I'm safe. I got one more block before I need to change to white. So we're going to talk about something else in a minute. So I'm going to do half my double, and I'm going to stop right there because I got to go to white. So I already have a little thing of white right here. This white that I have down here, we don't need it, and we're not going to use it again. So I'm going to snip it off with a good tail, a decent tail. And I'm going to weave it in. And I usually like to weave as I go, especially if I'm doing a great big ginormous project. Right now I'm doing a great big buffalo print. So I'm splitting the yarn when I weave. So right now I'm doing a buffalo print, and you do have to kind of change your yarn quite often. So I weave as I go because, I mean, for the most part, I'm getting a lot of it just tucked away, but I'm weaving as I go because I don't want to have to deal with it at the end. I just want to be done the project when I've done the project. So I am weaving quite extensively only because this is going to be a pillowcase. I'm probably going to throw it in the washing machine a few times. If you ever do that and you want to fluff up your pillows because, you know, if you wash your pillows too much, they get all flat, dry them in the dryer with a tennis ball, and they'll be fine. So I'm going to make sure my purple's on this side for my color change because this is my wrong side. Let me get my thing out. So I'm going to change to my white, and it looks like we're just doing one block of white. If I can manage to get everything sorted. So my one block of white. And then slip stitch into the top. And then we can turn. Do our 3 slip stitches. And then slip stitch into the big space. And round 26 starts off with one block of white. So chain 3 and do your block. See, even how small it is, I gotta force it to unravel because it's tight. So those butterfly things are bobbins. They really work well for me. So this is my one block of white. I am going to go to my purple, but I'm not going to pull my color around because I'm on the good side. Do my slip stitch. So I'm just going to snug up my white, maybe. Chain 3, and with purple, I'm going to do 4 blocks. This is my fourth block. So I'm going to slip stitch into this guy, and I'm going to turn my work. So around 27, so you're going to do your 4 slip stitches all together. So 3 in these top 3 chains, and then the 1 in your chain 3 space. And you're going to make 3 blocks with purple. So that's my, oops, that's my 3 blocks with my purple. I'm on my bad side, so I'm just going to pull that across. I'm going to finish that with my white. And do 1 block with my white. Slip stitch into the next space, turn your work. Just about done. Round 28. Get my white. Round 28, you're going to start with 3 slip stitches. And then your 4th one into that chain 3 space. You're going to do 3 white. So we're done our purple all together. So you're going to do 3 blocks with white. Oh, my bobbin wasn't quite long enough. So this is my 3rd block of white. I'm going to slip stitch and turn my work. So we are completely done with the purple. You can cut it off with a tail. And then this tail gets weaved in because we're never going back to it. So I weaved quite far. Just if you think you've pulled too tight, just stretch your stuff out. I'll deal with the white stuff later because we're just about done. So let's just finish this. I'm gonna have to attach new white. So do your 3 slip stitches. And your last slip stitch into here. I can't really chain 3. So I need to add more white. Put my straggler over there too. So that's kind of my chain 3-ish. I'm gonna hold this sideways. So my 2 stragglers here are gonna get, so this is my wrong side, so I need to hold them over onto this side And when I do my 3 double crochets, I'm going to weave those in, making sure they don't roll over to the other side, because you certainly don't want to see that from the other side. Oh, this row, sorry, we're doing 2 blocks. That's number 1. So I'm going to slip stitch without weaving and do my chain 3 without weaving, but then I'm going to bring these up and I'm going to weave again. You're not going to notice them because it's all the same color. Oh, my cake wasn't feeding, and there, I had a knot, that's why. So again, just make sure your stragglers don't roll over to the other side if you're doing what I'm doing. So that's my 2 blocks. Oh, I slip stitch into this, turn my work. Do your 3 slip stitches. Your 4th one goes into this space. Chain 3, and you're going to do 1 block. You're going to slip stitch into this next space, and that is it. This is your C2C heart. So yarn over and fasten off, leaving yourself a decent sewing tail to sew in that edge. So some of these have to be blocked. I will put up the meaning of what is blocked is right now. So that's the meaning of blocked. I just use a spray bottle when I block my stuff. But I'm actually probably not blocking this because this is just going to be a pillowcase. So I'm going to sew 2 sides, 2 ends together anyway. So if you wanted to stick around for the pillowcase part, then that'll be in... I'll make it a chapter, not a part. So that'll be in chapter 2. So that'll be next if you're going to stick around. If you're not sticking around, then thank you so much for joining me for this. Like I said, this is my first C2C. If you're not following me on my Facebook page, then you can find the link below to do that. We have a lot of fun on that page, and that's actually where I got kind of turned on to this C2C business. Was somebody had posted their C2C on the page, and I was like, what in the heck is this? So she is also a member of my YouTube channel, not a subscriber, a member. So if you have a computer, I will show you a short video on where you can find the join button to become a member. But she is a member, and she's also a member of my, she's a subscriber as well, and she is a member of my Facebook page, and she put her C2C up there to show her work. And I didn't know what it was, and I questioned, what in the heck is that? It's gorgeous. I love it. And that is how I got turned on to C2C. So that's the story. So, if you haven't found me on Facebook yet, go find me on Facebook. I'm pretty active, and we have a lot of fun over there. So I'm just going to finish weaving in my bits and bobs. I'm sure you know how to weave. I don't need to really show you how to do that. And I will meet you back here for chapter 2 if you're doing the entire pillowcase with me. The other side, unless you want it to be like this, so you're going to have to rewind the video and watch it again. Sorry, I had to sneeze. My other side is just going to be, I'm probably going to actually do the purple for the other side. Oh, maybe I'll do the white. I don't know. Maybe I'll do the white. I'll do the white for the other side. So I'll meet you back here for that. So, welcome back. This is chapter 2. We're going to turn this into a pillow. This is my good side. This is my wrong side. So, you can see a little bit. Let me come in. Where I did some of my color changes. So, I pulled across there. But it's not really that noticeable. I pulled across here, but it's in white. Pulled across here, but that's in purple. So that's my, and then this is the weird, I had to change color at the end. This is the weird, I had to change color at the end situation. I forgot I didn't zoom back out. So that's my wrong side, which actually looks pretty good. So you just need to stretch it out to relax your stitches. Before you decide to block it or whatever you're going to do with it. I am turning this into a pillow, which is why you're here with me for chapter 2. So let's get rid of this. We don't need this guy right now. Let's go back to our page. So our initial thing was 15 rows tall, 15 rows across. So that's exactly what we're going to do. In one color. So it's all just going to be one color. So figure out your color and I'll meet you right back here. So I'm using white for my other side of my pillow. And then I think when I put them together, I will use this purple for like the frills around it. I think that's what I'm going to do. So, we're going to chain 6. This video I'm going to probably do fast motion through because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because I've already taught you how to do the C2C. So I'll probably try to speed through this as fast as possible, so chapter 2 might not be that long. Oops. So chain 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. Should not talk while I'm doing it. So again, the last 3 chains will get a double crochet. I'm using the same hook because I need it to be the same size. So that's block number 1, chain 6. Last 3 chains, double crochet. Turn, slip stitch into that space, chain 3, 3 double crochets. Chain 6, make your block, Turn your work, slip stitch, chain 3, 3 double crochets, slip stitch, chain 3, 3 double crochets. So it doesn't take long, it builds up pretty quick. Chain 6. Make your block. I'm not going to do this through the whole video, by the way. Turn your work. So that's all you're going to do, is you're just going to keep doing this until you got at least 15 blocks across. And then we're going to get the pillow out and we're going to see if I need to do a... I don't think I need to do... my last one, I didn't write any of this down, the last one I made, because I had no plan. I had not planned on putting this in the video, but I guess people don't want to just know how to do the thing. So anyway, right now we've got a 5 across. Keep doing this till you have 15 across. So it's this graph is technically 16 rows high. This is 16 rows, and this is 15 across. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15 across and 16 rows. And you're all doing it in one color, so this is where I'm going to leave you, and I'll meet back up with you when we need to start decreasing. So when we don't do the chain 6 anymore, that's when I'll meet back up with you. So that's going to be after you have 15 blocks across. So I am at this part where I need to stop to come back to you. So our graph goes like this, or the other way if you're left-handed. So if you count your blocks, you should have 14 blocks. We're going to 15 across and then 16 high, because that's what this says, 16 high, but it's only 15 blocks across. So now I have 15. Keep zooming in and then I keep losing you. Alright. So I've just made my last block over here. So I don't want to make another block. Actually, I'm not going to chain one. Turn your work, and you're going to put in this first stitch a slip stitch. Second stitch gets a slip stitch. Oops, I missed a stitch. Should have 3 stitches because you did. Should have 3 stitches because you did 3. I'm turning this the wrong way. That's why. Turning it the wrong way and I'm blocking myself. So when you turn it, this first stitch, come down here. It's hard to explain because it's hard to see. If I spread it apart, you can see 1 stitch, 2 stitch, 3 stitch. I need you to put slip stitches in all of those because we don't need to make another block. We just made our last block for this. So you're going to slip stitch. And now in this chain 3 space, like you would regularly slip stitch into, slip stitch into it, and then chain 3. And just proceed all the way to the other end with your normal block building. So that squares it off like that. Anyway, proceed to the other end and I'll meet you there. So I'm back up to the top. So when it's laid like this, we have 15 blocks across because it's superimposing onto this. This is how it's sitting. So we have 15 blocks across, but we need 16 high. So we stopped increasing over here to stop right here. We need to increase one more time to give us 16 rows up here, because right now I got 15 blocks this way. So this would be our 16th block. So if we didn't have to do the 16th block, and I'll tell you what the difference is, if I didn't have to do the 16th block because I have 15 already up, I would just slip stitch into that and turn and go about my business. But I have to put another block on here to make this 16 rows high. So chain 3, put your 3 double crochets in there. And then we're going to turn our work. We're not doing the chain, and then we do our slip stitches. So 3 slip stitches. 4 technically, but in the double crochets we just did, slip stitch goes into the top of them to square it off, right? And then you do your regular stitch, slip stitch into that chain 3 space, and then you just carry on. So when we get to the other end, we don't need to make any more blocks. This is what's called decreasing is going to start, because all we need to do is slip stitch and then turn. And then it's not a traditional decrease like you would normally do in crochet. This decrease eventually will, each row will be less and less blocks. So that's what it should look like again, being laid flat. That should be squared off like that. So carry on, and I'll meet you at this squared off end to show you what to do. So I am back up at the end. So my last block here, before these two squared off blocks, I'm just going to slip stitch into this. And then I'm going to turn. And then you do the exact same thing you did when you squared off those blocks. You're going to slip stitch into the 3 double crochets, the top stitches. And then you're going to slip stitch into this chain 3 space, just like you do all along when you're building the blocks. And then you go again. I'll show you in a second what it looks like. I laid my thing on my yarn, so once I touch that, that's what it looks like. This looks funny now because it's not attached to this yet, but so now that's all you're going to do. No more chaining 6. All you're going to do is slip stitch into the last block of each row, and then continue to build your blocks. So I am currently on my last block. So this is where I was squaring off. So I'm just going to go into that chain 3 space, slip stitch like I was doing all along with my blocks, but I'm not chaining 3. I'm going to turn. And I'm going to slip stitch 4 times. So 3 in the top of those stitches, and then into your chain 3 space to start your next row. So it goes pretty fast. Now you can chain 3 and proceed to make your blocks. So I'll show you again when we get back over to the other side. But this is what we're going to do until we just get shorter and shorter and shorter. So again, I am on my last block. I'm going to do my 3 double crochets, and then all I do is slip stitch into that chain 3 space and turn my work. And then I slip stitch 3 times, and then the 4th time is into my chain 3 space. And then the 4th time is in that chain 3 space like you would normally do to start building a block. Slip stitch, chain 3. Build your blocks. So continue doing that until you can't do it anymore, and I will meet you right back here. So I'm just on my last few bits. I ran out of this sparkly white, so now I'm just using regular white. But I just have a few more blocks left to do, so I thought I would do them with you. So I just have that to connect, so I just have one more block to make. So I'm going to chain 3 do my 3 double crochets. So when I slip stitch into this space, this is it. This is where I fasten off. So just yarn over and fasten off with a weaving tail. You want to be able to weave your end in really well. If you're sewing your pieces together, then great. I'm crocheting mine together, but I'm using a different color. So if you're using whatever color you just finished with, don't fasten off. I should probably have said that before. I'm sure you know. So that is the back of our pillow. So I'm going to open one of my pillows just to get it inflated, because these are vacuum packed. The ones you get from Amazon. You don't know what the ones at Walmart are like. I have no idea. So this will puff up. Cut all my tags off. I can legally cut off now. So while that's kind of fluffing up, I'm going to weave in my ends because I'm using the purple color to do the border, or like to crochet it together. If you're sewing yours together, then you still probably have to hide your ends. So I think I only did about 6 blocks with this white. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so maybe 10. I don't think it'll be that noticeable, so I'm not too worried about it. So I am going to sew my 2 ends together. Now this does seem smaller because when we use the 2 colors, it just got stretched tonight. You just need to stretch out this and relax your stitches. So it's not smaller, it's the same size. It's just going to seem that way. So I am going to use my purple and I am going to sew these 2 pieces together. Alright, so I am going to sew my 2 ends together using a mattress stitch. So mattress stitch is not going to be that easy because, well, we don't quite have what we need, so we're just going to fake it. So start by pulling through a couple of pieces, a couple of bars. You're going to want to leave an end hanging out. So once you grab a couple of bars over there, you're going to come and you're going to grab a couple of stitches or bars over here. You don't have to tighten it. And then you come back over here and you grab a couple of bars. So this is going to look like shoelaces. I say bars, but there's really not anything there. For those that know how to mattress stitch, we're just kind of faking it a little bit. So I'm coming up to my corner. I'm just going to put my last couple of stitches in there, and then I'll show you what we do. Oh, end up with a knot now. Alright, so we just zoom out, show you. Let's move all my stuff. So this is what you have. Your shoelaces. So we didn't pull tight at all. You just went stitch for stitch. So now you're going to take this end that you left hanging out and this end that you were sewing with, and you're going to pull. And you're going to keep pulling until that's all together. So you can still see some of my purple because it is the block. It's C2C, so you got these blocks. This would work fine, perfectly fine if it was you know, not C2C, but I don't mind some of my purple showing because I have a purple heart. So that's what I'm going to continue to do. So do it 3/4 of the way around. Here and here, leave an opening to put your pillow in, and I will meet you right back. So as far as this goes, you can pull as you go. Just be careful how far you pull for your corner. So I am all the way around with this one side open. This is where I put my pillow in. And then I'm just going to continue to do a mattress stitch all the way back up. A mattress stitch doesn't look as good when you're doing it with a with this stitch, a C2C. It's the blocks. It doesn't look as good. So I probably could have done another stitch inside out and then flip this around, but I'm not a sewer, and I mean most of you that follow me, you know that I'm not a sewer, so hopefully you've done a stitch that looks better, or you didn't use purple, or you know, use the color of your... If I was using white, it wouldn't look so bad because you wouldn't even notice it, but I chose to use purple. Oh, I'm gonna end up with a knot. Oop. Yeah, don't pull so hard. So I just have a few more to do. Well, not even a few, a couple. And then I'm gonna show you what I do here at the end. So that's it, my couple. So I'm going to, I still got tons of stuff. I'm going to cut some of that off. So, let's see if I can fit this in. You've got where you started. I said leave some hanging out. So, I'm just going to cut a little bit of that off so that I can work it easier. I'm going to tie this in a tight double knot or a triple knot or whatever you want to do. I'm just going to do a double knot and then knocking everything over. Oh, it's right here. And then I'm just going to tuck it up and away. So this knot you just made is never going to be noticed. So you can't really go in, I can't really go into the white. I gotta go into the purple, but so hopefully that doesn't find its way back out, but I think I made it long enough. So once I pull that in, I'd never know it was there. And there we have it. So just kind of, because I think I pulled too tight in a couple of places, but just kind of stretch my work out. And there we go, and our little heart. Oh, I had to put mine into shape. There we go. I love it. Thanks for joining me, guys. Even that side's nice. Oh, see, I pulled too tight there, too. The pillow's not quite fluffed up to where it needs to be, but thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you in the next video.